What's up, your boy Phone of the Reaction? In today's video, we have the NFL has a quarterback crisis by microphone. Yeah, why is we giving Kirk Cousins 173 million in the grand year of 2026 on a 1-year deal? I guess they want the nigga to mentor Mendoza. Or
We wanted to bring in a player and give him an opportunity to not only compete, but, see where he could take this thing.
Something about a quarterback, and I'm going to say a quarterback with a chip on his shoulder.
that nigga said Geno Smith gonna take them to the promised land. He gonna take y'all to Archman, and that's who he gonna take y'all to.
Still got it. Look at her.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins, your agent, that nigga need a gold jacket fix.
Just living the dream. I love that.
The NFL draft is 3 weeks away, April 23rd in Pittsburgh. And right now, as I'm filming this, there are 5 NFL teams that cannot tell you who their starting quarterback is going to be this season. Or that might be completely delusional about who their starting quarterback is this season. I'm looking at you, New York.
So just to be clear, Geno Smith is the
New York Jets, if y'all don't go pick up Ty Simpson game.
starting
No
quarterback.
doubt about it. He's our guy.
The Las Vegas Raiders just signed Kirk Cousins to a deal that could be worth $172 million. The Jets traded for Geno Smith, and their coach said that he's going to take them to the promised land.
Like, I just feel like he's the guy that's going to lead us to the promised land. He's the guy that's going to touch the ball more than anybody else.
The Vikings brought in Kyler Murray and basically looked at their first-round pick in the face and said,
Yeah, good luck.
the Steelers are being held hostage by a 42
Yeah, who is the Steelers? Who is y'all quarterback, game?
year-old who won't tell them if he's even playing football
Yeah, nigga, you retiring or not?
again for the second offseason in a row. And then there's Cleveland, where they have 3 quarterbacks
Oh my gosh.
on the roster and somehow still don't have a quarterback that they trust. So I want to go through all these crazy quarterback situations because they're all connected by the same theme. Nobody knows who their guy is, and what's wild is each one of these situations is messier than the next. So before we get to the content, I wanted to announce something that I'm very excited about. I just launched a brand new podcast called the Mic Check. Away from me to 1,000 days hasn't worked out so well. Cousins officially agreed to sign with the Las Vegas Raiders. His agent announced it on social media, and the details are kind of wild when you break them down. The deal pays him $20 million fully guaranteed for 2026, with a club option that could push the total value to $172 million over 5 years. Now, I know I kind of baited this in the beginning of my video just because I thought it was funny. Before you see that $172 million number and think that the
Yeah, they gotta bring them back for
Las Vegas Raiders completely lost their minds, relax. Only $20 million of that is real money this year. The rest of it is club options that Vegas is almost certainly never going to pick up.
Yeah.
This is basically a 1-year deal dressed up in a tuxedo to make the press release look fancy and I guess to troll some people. I have to admit, this is very impressive. The fact that Kirk Cousins has consistently been getting these type of bags throughout his career, I mean, I think he might be the greatest bag getter in NFL history. The man has generated $321.6 million throughout his career before the loss.
Man, who the fuck he mentored though? Like, what quarterback he mentored into becoming some
Vegas contract. And now he's getting $20 million to pretty much become a backup QB this year or play a hand in developing Fernando Mendoza. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Keep this name in mind because we're going to come back to it later. Clint Kubiak, 2 days before signing Cousins, the Raiders' new head coach went to owners' meetings and told reporters that he wants a mature adult to guide a rookie quarterback. And that ideally Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah, because the last, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, they ain't start in their first year. The only nigga that started in his first year right now is Cam Ward.
The guy everyone's expecting the Raiders to take number 1 overall, won't start right away. 2 days later, the Raiders signed Kirk Cousins. And this is not a coincidence, this is a roadmap, because Kirk Cousins and Kubiak have history from Minnesota. They both worked together from 2019 to 2021, when Kubiak was the QB coach and then offensive coordinator. They know each other, there's trust over here. Now here's the thing, and this is where I want to be honest with you, Kirk Cousins in 2026 is not the Kirk Cousins that was putting up big numbers in Minnesota. This is a guy who finished 2025 completing 61.7% of his passes for 1,721 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 5 picks, which was good enough for a QBR tied for 22nd in the league, on a Falcons team that had way more talent around him than the Raiders have right now. And by the way, this is the same guy who just 2 years ago got benched in Atlanta after throwing 9 interceptions over a 5-game stretch in 2024. His shoulder was banged up, the wheels fell off, and the Falcons pulled the plug on him for Michael Penix Jr. So the Raiders' plan is to take a 37-year-old quarterback who hasn't been elite in years, put him behind what was one of the worst offensive lines in football last season, and hope he holds it together long enough for Mendoza to learn from the sideline. On paper, sure, I see the logic. Patrick Mahomes sat behind Alex Smith, Aaron Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre, Jordan Love sat behind Aaron Rodgers. For every one of those success stories, there are stories like what happened with Sam Darnold and JJ McCarthy, what happened with Matt Flynn and Russell Wilson, or probably the most ironic situation here, what happened with Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix. Or even look at what happened to the Browns last year. They had Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, Joe Flacco, and Shedeur Sanders all competing to be their quarterback. By the middle of it, they decided to trade Joe Flacco in the middle of the season to the Cincinnati Bengals of all teams.
And this delusional nigga Joe Flacco still think he deserved to be a starter in the league.
They cycle through Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders for the remainder of the season. Now, Clint Kubiak has a proven pedigree. He helped build that offense around Sam Darnold, and Sam Darnold won the Super Bowl. So Clint Kubiak left a championship caliber situation, walked into Vegas, and is now trying to rebuild from scratch with an aging bridge quarterback and a rookie who hasn't
he won a ring. Clint Kubiak was with Seattle to see
taken an NFL snap. That's a massive downgrade in talent, and the Raiders are betting everything on the idea that Kubiak's system matters more than the players in it. The Raiders think they have control.
Y'all think he's gonna be a good head coach?
Over this situation. And look, compared to what we're about to talk about, maybe they do. But don't let the plan fool you. There are cracks all over this thing. Like I said, at least the Las Vegas Raiders have a blueprint, even if it's a blueprint that's been shaky in the past. The New York Jets are just straight up doing the same thing they did last year and hoping that nobody notices this. So at the owner,
Aaron Glenn gonna get fired if he do terrible, which they probably is gonna be BJ this up and coming season. He gonna get fired.
Meetings this week, their head coach Aaron Glenn was asked about their new quarterback, Geno Smith, and his response was one of the most unhinged things I've heard a coach say this offseason. He told reporters,
I just feel like he's the guy that's going to lead us to the promised land. He's the guy that's going to touch the ball more than anybody.
There's a lot of quarterbacks in the league who probably got a chip on their shoulder. Like, what are you talking about?
So this is Geno Smith, a guy who threw a league-high 17 interceptions last season on a Raiders team that went 2-13.
And he 36, he 35 or something. 34.
That's the promised land guy. And what makes this so crazy is that we've seen this movie before on the exact same team. 1 year ago, at the exact same owners meetings, Aaron Glenn was gushing about Justin Fields. He was confident they would fix his career. Fields was going to be the guy, and then Fields struggled, got benched, and the Jets went 3-14. Now Glenn says he doesn't regret the decision. Cool. So they traded Fields to the Chiefs, picked up Geno Smith from the Raiders for a 6th-round pick, and we're all supposed to just forget what happened 12 months ago? Look, I want to be fair to Geno Smith for a second because his career is genuinely one of the craziest stories in the NFL. He was drafted by the Jets in the 2nd round of the 2013 draft, when many people thought he was worthy of a top 15 selection. He was supposed to be a franchise QB back then. It didn't work out. He bounced to the Giants, the Chargers, the Seahawks, and then in Seattle, something clicked. 2 straight Pro Bowls in 2022 and 2023, comeback player of the year. He threw for 4,320 yards and hit a 70.4 completion percentage in 2024, which was top 10 in NFL history for a single season. That was legit. Nobody can take that away from him. But then he got traded to Vegas in 2025 and it all fell apart. Through the first 5 games alone, he had 9 interceptions, the most by
Aaron Glenn. If you serious about keeping your job and not getting fired, nigga, go draft Ty Simpson, gang, because you gonna get fired, gang.
any Raiders quarterback in their first 5 games since Jim Plunkett in 1982. He took 55 sacks over the season. He finished with 3,025 yards, 19 touchdowns, and 17 interceptions. And the team around him was terrible, I'll give you that. But the question is, was the bad team making Geno look bad, or was Geno making the bad team look worse? Now, it's a cute full circle moment. Geno's back with the Jets, the team that drafted him, the team where it all started and where it all first fell apart. He's 35 years old, going back to the franchise that gave up on him over a decade ago, and the head coach is calling him the promised land. I mean, you literally can't make this stuff up. But here's what really gets me. The Jets have the number 2 overall pick and the number 16 overall pick in this year's draft. They could take Ty Simpson from Alabama, who's the consensus number 2
I don't know about taking him at 16. Like, that's too high of a draft pick. It's better players, bro.
QB in the draft class. They also have 3 first-round picks in 2027, which is supposed to be a way better quarterback class. So some people think that the real plan is to roll with Geno, have him command the tank, probably have another terrible season, and then draft their real franchise guy next year. And if that's the plan, fine. You could just say that. I mean, I guess you can't really expect a team to fully tell you they're tanking, but brother, don't address the entire NFL, look me dead in the eyes and say, Geno Smith is going to take us to the promised land. That's just crazy. It's just hard to be optimistic with the New York Jets and any starting QB. I mean, if you just take a look at their pattern since Mark Sanchez, they had Geno the first time, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Sam Darnold, Zach Wilson, Aaron Rodgers tearing his Achilles 4 plays in, Justin Fields, and now Geno Smith again. And by the way, Sam Darnold, who the Jets gave up on after the 2020 season, won a Super Bowl with Seattle. The Jets are basically a quarterback graveyard where careers go to die and then get resurrected somewhere else. And if that doesn't sum up this franchise, I don't know what does. Alright, so now we get to one that honestly might have the biggest long-term consequences of anything we talk about today. Because the Minnesota Vikings aren't just dealing with a QB problem, they're dealing with the psychological hangover of watching the quarterback they let walk out the door go win a Super Bowl. Let me set the scene for you. After the 2024 season, Sam Darnold
threw more touchdowns from Minnesota. He threw 35 touchdowns from Minnesota.
Had just led the Vikings to 14 wins and a Pro Bowl appearance. Minnesota reportedly made him an offer to stay. He said no thanks, signed with Seattle for 3 years and $100 million. And the Vikings said, okay, cool, we'll just run with JJ McCarthy, our first round pick from the year before. This was supposed to be a passing of the torch, the young guns time. And then Sam Darnold went to Seattle and won the Super Bowl. He threw for over 4,000 yards in the regular season, led the Seahawks to the number 1 seed, beat Matthew Stafford in the NFC Championship with 346 yards and 3 touchdowns, and then destroyed the Patriots 29-13 in Super Bowl 60.
Man, you saying he destroyed, nigga, that defense destroys the Patriots.
JSN called him everything you want in a quarterback and a leader, and said he's a world champ and that's something you can't take away from him. Justin Jefferson, still in Minnesota, literally said he couldn't help wondering if the Vikings might have made the Super Bowl if Darnold had stayed.
If you ran it back one more year, maybe that could have been you.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, definitely. I definitely felt like we would have done better, but I'm definitely happy and proud for him that he was able to reach it this year.
Could you think about how brutal that is? Your own star receiver is publicly wondering what could have been. Meanwhile, in Minnesota, JJ McCarthy played 10 games, threw for 1,632 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. He completed just...
Well, Justin Jefferson, you got Kyler Murray now. Bro, what y'all think Kyler Murray gonna do with Sam Darnold? I mean, what y'all think Kyler Murray gonna do with Justin Jefferson? Kyler Murray's a way better quarterback than Sam Darnold. He is.
57.
Niggas forgot about Kyler Murray. Y'all better put some respect on Kyler Murray.
7.6% of his passes. The Vikings went 9-8.
That nigga Kyler Murray was MVP candidate, like,
and missed the playoffs. And the advanced numbers are even uglier. McCarthy finished 35th in accuracy, 36th in third down conversion rate, 35th in EPA per pass.
He's going to be an MVP candidate. I promise y'all he is. Next season, he's going to be an MVP candidate with the Vikings.
25th in passer rating, bottom of the league across the board. PFF ranked him at 61.8 overall, ranking 35th out of 43 qualified quarterbacks. That's one of the worst starting quarterbacks in football. And the Vikings just decided that JJ McCarthy might not be salvageable. Here's where it gets awkward. Kevin O'Connell was asked at the owners' meetings what he told McCarthy before they signed Murray. And this is what O'Connell said.
But I was honest with him. I said, we are going to, elevate the room. When we have a standard and a consistency at that position, we've won a lot of football games. We wanted to bring in a player and give him an opportunity to not only compete, but, see where he could take this thing.
Let me translate this for you. Elevate the room is coach speak for,
Bro, you a fucking ass. We can't.
Yep. 9. Hopefully 9 you could go somewhere and revive your career. You know what I'm saying?
compete with you.
You know, I've been thought JJ McCarthy was trash, like since college. You know, he won that national championship. Bro was a game manager.
A Super Bowl
Well, I said a game manager, a system quarterback. Nigga, a system quarterback.
team, and we can't compete with you.
that's all that means. When your coach says he needed to bring someone in to
Elevate the position group that you're supposed to be leading?
that's not a pat on the back. That's him calling you ass in the nicest way possible. And Kevin O'Connell keeps hammering the same point over and over again. He said that in 2022 when Kirk Cousins played the whole season, they
Yeah, I wish these NFL coaches was just honest. Like, imagine niggas just went on a podcast. Yeah, he's ass, bro. So we got Kyler Murray to replace him. Like, imagine niggas was just honest as hell.
won 13 games. In 2024, when Sam Darnold played every snap but 2, they won 14 games. And in 2023 and 2025, when they had QB injuries and inconsistency, they missed the playoffs both times. The data doesn't lie. When Minnesota gets steady quarterback play, they win a lot of football games. When they don't, they fall short. And McCarthy didn't give them that. This is not a real quarterback competition. Kyler Murray is the strong favorite. And JJ McCarthy could even slip to third string behind Carson Wentz. This is a first-round pick from 2 years ago, and now he's going to be third string. I mean, there's no question about this. Kevin O'Connell even talked about changing his offense to incorporate more shotgun and pistol formations, even though the Vikings haven't traditionally run these under his watch. But that plays directly to Murray's strengths as a dual-threat QB. You don't redesign your scheme for a guy that you're not starting. And the money side of this is just hilarious. Arizona's paying almost all of Murray's $36.8 million salary. The Vikings have their entire four-man QB room, Murray, McCarthy, Wentz, and Brosmer, signed for a combined $11 million in cap space. That's the 7th lowest in the NFL. So Minnesota saw a former #1 overall pick on clearance and grabbed him off the rack. And now people are openly wondering if JJ McCarthy could ask for a trade before the preseason even starts. Think about how wild this timeline is. The Vikings
A
draft
trade for what? For you could be a backup somewhere else? Niggas just sit behind Kyler Murray game. And Kyler Murray could probably develop you, teach you something.
McCarthy 10th overall in 2024. He missed his entire rookie year with a knee injury. That's not his fault. He got thrown into the fire in year 2 behind an offensive line that was getting destroyed by injuries all season. Also not entirely his fault. And before he even gets a healthy offseason to develop, they bring in the guy who's clearly going to replace him. They did to JJ McCarthy what the Falcons essentially
Yeah, well, you know, they don't give quarterbacks enough time in today's league. They don't let them niggas develop. They just move on. But they try and win Super Bowls, bro.
did to Kirk Cousins and what the Jets did to Zach Wilson. Although, I have to admit, Zach Wilson got plenty of opportunity to succeed.
Yeah.
But they drafted McCarthy, they publicly committed to him, and then they brought in the replacement before he ever got a fair shot. So the ghost of Sam Darnold is haunting every single decision this organization makes at quarterback, and JJ McCarthy is paying the price. At least the Minnesota Vikings made a decision. You might not like the decision, but they looked at the situation and said, this clearly isn't working, and they did something about it. The Pittsburgh Steelers are just sitting there, waiting, because their entire 2026 season depends on whether a 42-year-old man feels like playing football, and he won't give them an answer. Art Rooney said this
Just go with Will Howard 5.
week that he expects Aaron Rodgers to make his
See what Will Howard gonna do.
decision before the draft, which is on April 23rd. That's 3 weeks from now, and they still don't know if their quarterback is showing up. Their new head coach, Mike McCarthy, says he and Rodgers talk regularly and that he's confident that Aaron Rodgers is coming back. But what else is Mike McCarthy going to say? He's not going to go up there and tell reporters,
Hey, honestly, we have no clue what we're doing at the QB position.
of course he's
Yeah.
gonna say he's confident. He has no other option. The one good sign about all this is Aaron Rodgers was originally rumored to be visiting the Denver Broncos as the bridge QB as the Broncos waited for Bo Nix to get healthy, but Bo Nix is fully healthy now and the Broncos seem set, so Aaron Rodgers isn't going to visit the Broncos anymore. The problem with the Rodgers waiting game that nobody talks about enough is that every day that goes by without an answer, the Steelers can't plan. They can't make draft decisions. If Rodgers says yes, they can use their picks on defense, offensive line, skill positions. If he says no, they might need to panic draft a quarterback or go into the season with somebody off of the scrap
Garrett Nussmeier, or like I said, Will Howard.
heap. And those are two completely different draft boards, two completely different roster construction strategies, and the clock is ticking. It's really unfortunate because this is the Pittsburgh Steelers, one of the most stable, well-run franchises in NFL history. And right now they look like they're being held hostage by a guy who's turned the retirement announcement into an annual tradition. Rodgers has been doing this will he or won't he thing every single year since 2021. Between darkness retreats, ayahuasca, and cryptic IG posts, the man absolutely
Chill fired. Aaron Rodgers retire and do a collab with Illuminati.
loves doing this every offseason. And some team always has to just sit there and take it. This year it's Pittsburgh again, and the draft is in their building, in their city, and they might not know who their quarterback is when they walk up to the podium. Finally, we arrive at the team that makes everyone else look functional. The Cleveland Browns, where there aren't two quarterbacks fighting for one job, there are three. And somehow the quarterback situation isn't even the most dysfunctional thing on this franchise.
Dang, get Shador the keys, man. Don't get no Deshaun Watson no keys, bro. Like, bro, that nigga shouldn't even be in the league. Mr. Massage Boy.
Coach Todd Monken was asked about it at owners' meetings this week, and he said there's going to be a quarterback competition, but the reps won't be split evenly between Shador Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, and Deshaun Watson. So before every single
Mr. Happy Ending Boy
practice snap has been taken, the head coach is already telling you this isn't equal. Somebody is getting more reps. And based on everything we've seen, that somebody is going to be Shador Sanders. How do we know? Well, Shador just switched to number 2. The Browns announced it on their socials. He posted number 2 on his own accounts. And let me tell you something, when a young quarterback changes his jersey number and turns it into a branding moment, he's not preparing to be a backup. That's a guy who thinks he's the franchise. And from everything that Monken has signaled, he might be right. But then you've got Dylan Gabriel, who's a solid player in his own right and isn't just going to hand over the keys. And then there's the elephant in the room that's been stomped.
Dang, Dylan Gabriel, dang, you 5'9", gang. Like, come on. Well, it ain't about height. You genuinely just trash. Like, come on.
Around Cleveland for 3 years now. Deshaun Watson, still on the roster, still attached to what might be the worst contract in the history of professional sports. That previous regime traded 3 first-round picks and gave Watson a fully guaranteed $230 million contract. And now this man is competing for a roster spot with a first-year head coach and 2 second-year players. The thing that makes this confusing is Jimmy Haslam addressed Watson's starting potential this week, and it seems like Deshaun Watson might potentially be the starter. But here's the thing about Todd Monken that you need to understand. The man was the offensive coordinator for Lamar Jackson's MVP season a couple years ago. He knows what a good quarterback looks like. He's coached them. And the fact that he's not even pretending this is an open competition tells you he's already picked his guy. Shador is the future, Gabriel's the safety net, and Watson is the financial albatross that the front office is desperately trying to figure out how to move on from without eating $100 million in dead cap. 3 QBs, 0 clarity, a brand new coaching staff trying to rebuild a franchise from the ground up while managing the most expensive mistake in NFL history. If the Raiders are controlled chaos and the Jets are a rerun of last year's failure, the Browns are just pure, uncut, unfiltered chaos. The kind of chaos that only Cleveland could produce. Which situation here is the worst? Is there a QB situation that you think I forgot to talk about? Let me know in the comment section down below. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.
Yeah, make sure to subscribe and all deuces. Yeah. Which one of these quarterbacks from this draft class I think gonna be good? Besides Fernando Man, I don't know why niggas think Fernando Mendoza's gonna be a bust. The man's accurate. He looked good at his pro day. I don't know why, but